Hello everyone, I'm Pastor Nelson here at Bethlehem Church in Thornton, Pennsylvania, and I have been waiting a long time to say these words to you. Welcome back. We are going to be opening for in-person worship on September 6th at our 8:45 and our 10:45 services. So this video is going to help you to know some of the risks that are involved in worshiping in person, and it's going to show you that the church is not looking the same as it did while you were away. Church will not be done as usual because the COVID situation is still around. So I'm going to invite you to come into the fellowship hall, and we're going to be entering into the building through the second door on the right as you're coming up the walkway. So why don't you come with me and we'll get inside. And one of the things that you're going to notice as soon as you come in is that we have this space kind of like marked off for you to be able to walk in and go directly into the sanctuary. None of the rest of the facility is open and available. But as soon as you come in, we're going to ask you to do something really important. We're going to ask you to sanitize your hands. So you do that, it's available for you here. Then you're going to be greeted by our greeter who will be standing right here. And if you've forgotten a mask, there are masks that have been sanitized and they're right here. So knowing the risk, do I come to worship or not? So we have a sign up here that says know the risk. So there are 4 categories that we're going to look at. Number 1 is most important. If you are of the most vulnerable of the population who would be greatly affected by COVID-19, we highly recommend that you stay home. All of our live streaming options will be available. You'll be able to watch it on YouTube, on our website, and on our Facebook page. So you can keep watching everything that we do online. Number two is that if you have experienced any of the symptoms of COVID-19, and they're listed right here for you: coughs, fever, chills, shortness of breath, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headaches, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion, nausea, running nose, vomiting or diarrhea. If you or anyone in your household has had those symptoms and any time in the 14 days preceding the open worship that you're going to come to, we ask you to stay home. And then, of course, then there's the third category, and that's part number 13 on our policy, which is on our webpage, is if you're a person who travels for work or for vacation, we ask you to go ahead and check the list of those areas where you are asked to quarantine. Okay, so those are the 4 most important things. We're going to come a little bit further. One of the other things that's really important about what we're doing here is that we know that people may need to cough or sneeze. This is allergy season, correct? And so if you need to do that, and you didn't have any of those, but we want you to take some tissues or handkerchief and to sneeze into that or cover it with your elbow. Now it's important though that if you are using tissues, which we have in every single pew on both sides of the pew, there's a box of tissues, we want you to dispose of them right away and to re-sanitize your hands. The next thing that's really important is that everyone wears a mask. So as soon as you get out of your car in the parking lot, we're asking you to put on your mask. Then we're asking you then to come into the church and to wear it 100% of the time, especially while singing, praying, or reciting prayers, or speaking with people in the church. It is really important that if you are talking to somebody or you are singing, that we're socially distanced, which is the next thing, but that you keep that mask on and that you can only take it down if you need to breathe, okay? So you need a little bit of a breather, but we ask you to put it up. But leave it on while singing, reciting prayers, or speaking, okay? So I talked about social distancing. You're going to notice then that there are markers on the floor, and there are markers all the way through the sanctuary that'll help us to guide and judge what social distancing looks like. So why don't you come with me? We're going to go into the sanctuary where an usher then will take you to your pew. So come on over with me. We're going to go inside. Now, an usher is going to meet you right here inside the sanctuary, and an usher in the fellowship hall is going to ask you to kind of wait until the ushers are available. And they're going to escort you to one of the available seats that we have while we're sitting here to worship. These seats are approximately 8 feet apart. So I'm going to ask you to come to the front of the sanctuary so you can see how far apart they really are. So here's a pew, and then here's a pew. Well, let's go all the way up front. This is the fourth pew back, and this is the first available pew for you to sit in to worship in person. The reason why we have this pew available and not these up here are because we up front are not going to be wearing a mask while we're singing or performing in the service itself. And so therefore, we're giving 20 feet of space. These pews can only seat so many people because those to the left who are not part of the same household have to be 6 feet away from you. So let's just say that you're a married couple and you come and you sit here, then only a single person can sit on the other end of the pew. These pews are separated by these markers, and on the outside there's little signs that say, please don't sit in this pew. Now, when the service is over, we're going to ask you to remain seated. It's really important that you stay in your pews. The ushers will then come and escort you out. So how do we leave? Well, let's go back through the back and we'll show you. Now, during our service, we're not going to have hymnals or Bibles or bulletins available. Everything will be projected up onto the screen for you to be able to see, nor will we be taking an offering. The offering will be right here. This is an opportunity for you to give, whether you're coming into the service or leaving the service. You can deposit your offering right here. Okay? While you're seated in the sanctuary, we ask that you do not get up and walk around and talk to your friends or other folks who are in the sanctuary. We need you to do that out in the parking lot so that we minimize those who are lingering and talking to one another inside the church service. So as we exit the building, we want you to come this way. Notice we entered through the fellowship hall, and now we're going to exit through the lobby. The ushers will guide you through the lobby. There are still continuing to show you social distance markers on the floor. These doors will be propped open for you, and you may exit that way and head back out into the parking lot. The important thing that we ask you to do while leaving is to once again sanitize your hands. One important piece of being in worship is that oftentimes we might need to use the restroom. So if you take a look at the sign right here, if you do need to use the restroom, all of the restrooms are single use only. We simply ask you to knock at the door so that you can see whether or not somebody is in there, and then go in and take care of the business that you need to take care of. We ask that you wash your hands, sanitize, and then come back out. There's some information in there about washing hands and about how to utilize the facility and to make it safe for everyone who's in there. But what really needs to be said here before we close out is this, is that since we can only fit so many people, you're going to need to sign up online. So when you sign up online, you're going to either sign up for the first service or the second service and tell us how many people are coming. The other way to do that is to phone call the office. Just call the office and tell us that you'd like to come on this date or this time. Because of the social distancing requirements, you're only going to be able to fit so many people. We may only be able to worship every other week, but at least we're back at worship and we're happy about that. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Pastor Nelson here at Bethlehem Church, and we hope to see you soon.